They tried to destroy you, not simply to hurt you, but to erase the evidence that goodness still exists in a world they can't control. They studied your kindness like a weapon, your mercy like a flaw, your patience like a weakness. And every time you forgave, every time you prayed for peace, they mistook it as permission. You didn't meet a person, you met an assignment. A spirit sent to distract, to drain, to dismantle. You opened your heart, believing that love could heal what was broken in them, but they came to consume, not to connect. They couldn't stand your light because your light made their darkness visible. And when exposure began, so did their rage. They launched the smear campaign, the whispers, the subtle sabotages. They gathered an audience of bystanders, friends, family, co-workers, anyone they could convince to see you as unstable, dramatic, ungrateful. They wanted you to break in public, so they could stand back and say, "See, I told you so." It was never about truth, it was about control. But what they didn't know was that God was already at work. Every dagger they threw only cut the strings that tied you to them. Every lie they spread only clarified who you truly were. Every attempt to tear you down became another opportunity for heaven to lift you up. You cried out, wondering why God wasn't stopping it, why he let them prosper while you suffered in silence. But he wasn't ignoring you. He was writing something that couldn't be erased. He was showing the world what faith looks like under fire. And faith untested is faith unproven. So he let them push. He let them mock. He let the lies circulate until they reached every ear that once believed them, so that when the truth emerged, no one could deny it. You thought you were losing everything, but heaven was dismantling illusions. He was pruning your circle, stripping away attachments that were never loyal, and revealing the difference between supporters and spectators. The narcissist thrives in confusion. Their favorite weapon is chaos. They create storms, then play the victim when the rain falls. They break the glass, then cry for the cuts. And through it all, you tried to reason, explain, reconcile, but how can you reason with someone who profits from misunderstanding? When God saw that you were still trying to fix what he was trying to free you from, he stepped in. He let the tower fall. He allowed the relationship, the friendship, the job, whatever it was, to collapse, not to punish you, but to protect you. Because sometimes the only way to save the light is to remove it from the darkness. You thought it was rejection. It was redirection. You thought it was the end. It was the beginning. You thought you were being punished, but you were being positioned. And while they were celebrating your supposed downfall, heaven was planning your elevation. The same people who laughed at your pain will one day have to watch your peace. Because God doesn't waste pain, he repurposes it. He takes what was sent to destroy and transforms it into instruction. Every sleepless night became a seed of wisdom. Every false accusation became an altar for truth. Every tear you cried watered the soil of your next season. They tried to bury you, but they didn't realize you were a seed. While they were searching for new supply, someone else to validate their emptiness, God was healing you in silence. He was teaching you that closure doesn't come from conversation, it comes from revelation. That you don't need an apology when heaven has already vindicated you. That peace isn't found in proving your innocence, but in knowing your purpose. And as he healed you, he began to expose them. Not through gossip, but through consequence. One by one, the masks started to crack. The charm faded. The new supply began to see the same red flags you once ignored. And the narcissist, who once stood on a pedestal of deceit, began to crumble under the weight of their own lies. Because you can't outrun truth. You can't manipulate divine order. God is patient, but he's not blind. He allows deception to run its course so that when the collapse comes, it is total, not partial. And it's happening now. Their plans are backfiring. Their alliances are fracturing. Their image is decaying. They are surrounded by the very energy they created. Every trap they set for you became their own cage. Every rumor they started became their own reputation. Every curse they spoke found no resting place, but returned to sender. You don't need to celebrate their downfall. You only need to understand it. Because what's happening isn't revenge, it's revelation. It's God showing the difference between building with truth and building with illusion. When the foundation is deceit, the structure always collapses. And while their world collapses, yours expands. Quietly, steadily, beautifully. You begin to notice that opportunities find you easily now. Doors open that used to stay shut. Peace surrounds you, even when storms rage outside. That's the evidence of divine exchange, where God trades ashes for beauty, sorrow for strength, pain for purpose. You don't have to chase blessings when you've become one. And that's exactly what God was doing behind the scenes, turning you into the kind of person whose very presence shifts atmospheres. The narcissist once tried to define your worth, but now they can only witness your transformation. Because God didn't just restore what you lost, He multiplied what remained. Now, as you rise, something sacred happens. You stop hating them. Not because they deserve forgiveness, but because you deserve freedom. You stop rehearsing their betrayal and start rehearsing your gratitude. You stop looking back at what broke you and start looking ahead to what builds you. Forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. It means release. You release them from your energy, your thoughts, your prayers, not out of malice, but out of mercy. Because you finally understand that they were never the author of your story. God was. And that's where the healing begins, when you stop asking why they did it and start asking what God did through it. When you realize that the attack wasn't personal, it was purposeful. You were chosen not for destruction, but for demonstration, to show what divine restoration looks like when the enemy fails. And fail they did. Every plot, every lie, every attempt to provoke your downfall, it all fell apart the moment you surrendered it to God. He took what was poisoned and made it medicine. He took what was lost and turned it into legacy. He took your pain and turned it into power. What they meant for harm became the proof of your calling. Because it takes pain to unlock purpose. It takes betrayal to teach discernment. It takes heartbreak to create humility. And once you've walked through that kind of fire and come out with faith still intact, you become unshakable. That's the power of divine healing. It doesn't erase your scars. It redeems them. And each scar now tells a story. I've been there, but I didn't stay there. The narcissist wrote the first part of your story, but God is writing the rest. And the second half always outshines the first. And now, as the dust settles and the noise fades, you finally see what God was doing all along. He wasn't punishing you. He was preparing you. He wasn't delaying justice. He was deepening your roots. Because when the storm passed, you didn't come out bitter. You came out wiser, quieter, and stronger. The narcissist took pieces of your trust, but God gave you discernment in its place. They took your laughter, but God gave you joy that can't be stolen. They tried to take your hope, but God replaced it with faith that can't be shaken. Everything they tried to destroy became the very thing God rebuilt with greater glory. There is something sacred about survival, but there is something even holier about restoration. You see, God didn't just want you to survive that relationship. He wanted you to emerge transformed. Because the old version of you, the one who tolerated manipulation, begged for honesty, and tried to heal those who refused to change, could not enter the destiny that was waiting. So He let the pain carve you into someone new. You began to see your own reflection differently, no longer through the eyes of the one who despised you, but through the gaze of the one who designed you. You stopped apologizing for existing. You stopped lowering your light to make others comfortable. And you started walking with a quiet confidence that doesn't need validation. God began sending confirmation in subtle ways, a verse, a dream, a conversation that felt like heaven whispering, "I was there, all along." He showed you that nothing was wasted. Not one tear, not one prayer, not one lonely night. Every bit of it was shaping you for the promise that now stands before you. And while you heal, something divine begins to shift in your atmosphere. The same people who once doubted you now see the favor resting on your life. Opportunities align effortlessly. The closed doors that once broke your heart suddenly make sense because you realize those rooms were too small for the person you've become. You outgrew what once held you. That's what divine growth looks like. God won't let you fit back into what he freed you from. And though the narcissist may still wander, searching for new admiration, new attention, new victims, you no longer watch their journey with anger. You feel something strange, something freeing, pity, maybe even compassion, because you finally understand that they were never your enemy. They were your lesson, a living example of what happens when pride tries to play God. Their downfall is not your celebration, it's your confirmation. Proof that divine law still stands. Proof that what's built on lies cannot endure truth. Proof that the God who promised to prepare a table in the presence of your enemies meant it. And now, as you feast on peace, they choke on their own deception. But even here, God whispers, "Do not gloat." Because vindication isn't vengeance, it's validation. It's heaven saying, "See, I told you I would fight for you." And now he's calling you to something higher. He's calling you to rebuild, not from fear, but from faith. Your future doesn't carry the scent of smoke from what burned. It carries the fragrance of oil, the anointing born from affliction. The same way olives are crushed to release their oil, you were crushed to release your calling. And that calling now radiates from your life like light from a candle that refuses to die. Everywhere you go, peace follows. When you speak, people listen differently because they can feel the weight of someone who has wrestled with pain and found purpose. You've become what the narcissist never understood, a vessel of grace. Not perfect, not untouchable, but divinely rebuilt. And the beautiful irony is that what they used to shame you is now what God uses to showcase you. The same sensitivity they mocked has become your discernment. The same gentleness they called weakness has become your authority. The same silence they used to dominate you has become the language of your wisdom. This is what redemption looks like, not revenge, but renewal. You didn't just get back what you lost. You gained everything you needed. The peace that surpasses understanding, the confidence that doesn't waver, the joy that doesn't depend on applause. Because you learned the secret, true strength isn't loud, it's holy. And as the new season unfolds, you begin to see how everything connects. The betrayal that broke you led you to prayer. The prayer that sustained you led you to purpose. And that purpose will now lead others out of their own prisons. That's the miracle hidden in the pain. God never wastes a wound. So when you speak, your voice carries healing. When you tell your story, others find courage. When you pray, mountains move. Because the same power that delivered you is now working through you. You are no longer a victim of what happened. You are a vessel of what heaven can do. And if you ever doubt it, just look back for a moment. Look at the path behind you. The ashes turn to gold, the tears turn to testimony. Remember who you were when the narcissist first entered your life, and who you are now. The difference between those two versions is the evidence of God's fingerprints. He didn't just remove you from the storm, he taught you how to walk on the water. He didn't just silence your accusers, he gave you a new voice. He didn't just close the old chapter, he rewrote the ending. And now you stand here not broken, but blessed beyond recognition. The narcissist tried to destroy you, but here you are, breathing, rising, radiant. Every scar on your soul now glows with divine purpose. Every memory of pain has turned into wisdom. Every place you once cried has become sacred ground. So if you ever wonder what God did instead, He made you unbreakable. He made you untouchable by the same lies that once haunted you. He made you proof that no human intention can override divine intervention. And now, your life becomes the sermon. You don't need a pulpit to preach. Your peace preaches louder than words. Your joy, your wholeness, your calm in the face of chaos, all of it declares that God is faithful, that He restores, that He vindicates, that He redeems. The narcissist wanted to be your downfall, but God made them your deliverance, the vehicle that carried you into revelation. You no longer define yourself by what they did. You define yourself by what God did instead. And the more you walk in that truth, the more heaven opens over you. So, take a breath. This is not the same air you once gasped for. This is the air of freedom, the atmosphere of peace, the breath of restoration. You are standing in the very place the enemy said you'd never reach. And not only did you survive, you're thriving. You've entered the divine exchange, their chaos for your calm, their cruelty for your clarity, their lies for your legacy. You are not behind. You are exactly where grace carried you. And from here, every step forward is holy. Let this truth settle deep in your spirit. They didn't win. Because evil never wins against endurance. Deception never wins against discernment. And pride never wins against providence. God used what they meant for harm to establish you, to anoint you, to reveal Himself through you. So tonight, as you listen, let peace replace every memory of pain. Let gratitude replace every echo of fear. Let faith replace every question that begins with, why? Because you don't need to understand it all, you only need to trust the one who turned it all. And if this word reaches you today, if it touches the place in your soul that thought the pain would never make sense, then you already know. The battle is over, the lesson is complete, and the blessing is unfolding. You are walking proof that what they meant for harm, God turned for good. And from this moment forward, you will never be the same. Because the narcissist tried to destroy you, but God rebuilt you into something they can't even recognize. Grace wrapped in strength, light born from loss, love that doesn't fear the dark. And as heaven watches, as angels record every moment of your redemption, the same words echo through eternity. Behold, I make all things new. If you believe that this was your word, if you know deep in your spirit that what the enemy meant for your end has become your beginning, then say it aloud with faith, with peace, with finality. What they meant for harm, God turned for my good. Because that's not just your affirmation, that's your testimony. That's your restoration story. That's what God did instead.